Hello, welcome to the Engineer's Box. Now I got something pretty cool to show you today. I've been working on a command module pretty much to replicate the IC2 mod, which has been pretty popular over the past couple of years. It's been around for a long time now, and still to this day people love it. So I've decided I'm going to recreate the mod pretty much entirely, as close to the original as I can. Obviously with some restrictions with commands, I can't do certain things, but the majority of it I'm doing. And but today I just want to show you what I've worked on in with the Macerator and a few of the items associated with it. Yeah, so first of all, let's jump in. I'll give you a look at the items we've got here. So we've got these fuel cells, the full ones, empty ones. Got this block Macerator, crushed gold ore, lapis, iron, coal, emerald, and diamond. Those are the main ones for the moment. There may be more, they may be subject to change, but for the moment, that's what it is. And these items are not actually directly retextured items. The way I've done it is that I've used a bit of JSON and dot properties magic, and I've assigned a specific texture to a name. So a name is considered MBT data. Therefore, you can assign based off that MBT data. So for this one, I've assigned the name fuel cell this texture, and for the empty ones, I've assigned it this texture if it has the empty fuel cell. And the same with these; they're all just modifications of pre-existing items underneath the name. So you can actually use items in their entirety and not worry about having to deal with naming issues and damage values and stuff like that, which is really cool. Another cool thing about this mod that I'm recreating, is that you won't be able to just go up to an anvil and take an item and rename it, because there'll be a system in place so that every time you try and do that, it just takes the items away, so you no longer have them. So you're actually just going to lose items if you try that, which is, yeah, not exactly the greatest thing, but it'll keep people from doing it. But yeah, so let's jump right into it. So what we've got is a macerator, and the way it works is that you can drop this on the ground, like so, and it'll place this block. As you can see, it is retextured, so that's pretty cool. Another interesting thing about this is the fact that you can actually right-click on it, and it brings up this inventory here. Now, if we take a fuel cell, stick it inside, now you can see that something happened there. Close the inventory. If we go back in, it's now consumed that fuel cell, and each one of these is worth 10 uses of the macerator. I'm trying to keep it as an equivalent based off uses, because actually doing a power consumption kind of set of properties and around machines is pretty difficult. So I'm going to do it based off uses. So in this case, a single fuel cell will give you 10 uses. And if you click above here, you can see that we've got this inventory that pops up, this GUI. We've got stone to cobblestone, polished granite to granite, polished diorite to diorite, polished andesite to andesite, gold ore to crushed gold ore, diamond ore to crushed diamond ore, redstone ore to 8 redstone, so you do get a profit out of that, emerald ore, crushed emerald ore, iron ore, crushed iron ore, coal ore, crushed coal ore, and lapis ore. Now the interesting thing about these is that when you put these through a smelter, and I do have a system that will work for any smelter, whether it be one that I implement, a modded sort of one, or whether it be a regular furnace, you can put these in and it will give you your items out. Now I'm not going to tell you how I'm going to do that. I want to leave that up to you, see what you come up with. But there is a system I've found out that you can do to take these items and give them the smelting process. But yes, so each one of these, so a single crushed lapis ore will give you the equivalent of 1 lapis. And that's true for all of these. Now the reason I've done this is because I don't want it to be just another method of getting things. I want it to actually be worth the player's time of getting these crushed ores. And in this case, so something like diamonds will give you, from 1 diamond ore, you can get 2 diamonds guaranteed. So if you don't have a silk touch pickaxe, then that can be really beneficial to it. Yeah, so it'll be really nice, really easy for people to use. Now, if we actually take a couple of these items, so maybe get some 2 stone, Polished granite. 2 of those. Iron ore. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, diamond ore. What do we got? 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, and we'll just grab 2 of these. So if we actually go into this into this interface, and we stick some of these in, you can see that works. And these work. Gold ore. That works. Iron. So you can put these through and you get your respective items out. This GUI may not actually stay as a villager sort of thing. Oh, you can see that something happened there. That was the villager dying. I'll talk about the system in a minute. But yeah, so this may not stay as a system with a villager where you just inputting items and it comes out. I might actually do a custom GUI because I have some ideas on how I can do this and implement it. But it really depends on how I actually code it, because that's what it comes down to, is coding these things inside a resource pack. Because this is going to fit inside a resource pack so that you can just implement it into your world. There'll be 2 options, whether you can do it as command blocks or you can do it as functions. Functions will probably be a bit less processor intensive compared to the command blocks, considering that these all have to be in spawn. But yeah, so that may change over the coming weeks or something. But these are the command blocks for it. Now you may be thinking, well, that's a hell of a lot of command blocks. This is just all of them separated out. So each single command has its own block. It just makes it easier to work with. Obviously, this will be condensed into a 1 command very soon. That you can use and implement. So each one of these machines, actually, you could implement as a single part of the mod. So you can actually mix and match these things, which I think is pretty cool. And it could be really great for people that might want to use this in the future as part of a mod pack or something like that, because it is really very modular. So you can just take a piece and implement it, and you can modify it and do whatever you like with it, pretty much. Obviously, respective to the fact that I created it. But yeah, so you can do that sort of thing. So if we just dump these items really quickly. And yeah, so that's interesting. And if we delete the block, you can see it gives us the macerator back, so you don't actually lose any items, which is pretty nice. And also, yeah, so, and this actually only uses a single entity to do this, which is really good. So it's only 1 entity per machine, which that's the bare minimum. Obviously, I can't do it without any entities, because then I can't test for the blocks and so forth. But yeah, so pretty much all we've got going on is that when it's a detection system, so if there's an item on the ground, where that item is, it will summon a dropper with this skin over the top, and a leash knot above it, and then we summon to the leash knot an armor stand with this texture on the head, pushed down, and it's scaled out a bit so it matches just over the block. Yeah, and then it's just using test 4s, just what we can use test 4s. There's obviously other ways to do it. But you're just testing for the fact that if there is a fuel cell in this slot here, then it will add to one of the scoreboard objectives. So if we just take a look at the objectives here, we've got stat tracking, drop to macerator. Each of these do separate things. Like drop just tells us whether it's on the ground. Macerator just is whether there is a macerator in existence. So this is for future implementation where you have multiple machines and they're all separate to each other. That's what that'll be for. And stat tracking is just in terms of keeping track of how many things have been used and what, yeah, so how many times you've actually used it, things like that. So that's just a basic overall one. But if we take a look at when I add a fuel cell to this, you can see if we take a look at the list again, there's another one, trade detect. Now what I've done is that every time you add a one of those fuel cells to it, it actually gives that trade detect a -10 value. Now if we set this as sidebar with trade detect, you can see that it's got that -10 value there. Oops, you can see that. So basically what's happening is every time that I use this, so we just get a couple of stone, I'll take that out. Every time that I use this, you can see that it goes down in value over here. And the way it works is it goes from 10 and down, and it stacks with that. So it just brings it down to 0, and as soon as it hits 0, it just kills the villager off. But the great thing about this system is that you can have as much charge as you want for a single system, which I think is great. because then you can have it specifically set apart from another machine. You can just keep filling it and so forth. So now we have 19, and I can just keep getting bits of stone. Yeah, so it's really good, really versatile, easy to implement. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this little overview, and we'll continue with this kind of model recreation pretty soon. This is what my main project is for the moment, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys in the nearest of futures. Have a good one.